All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're tackling one of the most fascinating and honestly mind-blowing ideas in the entire Bible, the Millennium. We're talking about a 1,000-year kingdom of peace and restoration, not off in some far-flung heaven, but right here on this earth.
So, 1,000 years of global peace, a world totally remade. I mean, it sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? But what if I told you this incredible vision is actually the climax of a story that's been in the making for thousands of years?
See, the key to understanding this future kingdom isn't just hiding in the last book of the Bible. It's really about fulfilling one of the oldest promises in all of Scripture, the promise to get back to a lost paradise, to restore it.
Okay, so to piece this incredible puzzle together, we've got to start where most people first bump into it, with the mystery behind that very specific number, 1,000.
So the word itself, millennium, it comes straight out of Revelation chapter 20. And it's describing this very specific period of time where the Messiah reigns directly over the earth. But, and this is a huge but, it only happens after one crucial event, the binding of his great adversary, Satan.
Now here's what's so cool. The author of Revelation isn't just making this up. He's not inventing a brand new hope out of thin air. He's actually tapping into this deep, deep well of prophetic tradition that stretches back for centuries.
So let's do that. Let's jump in our time machine and travel way back to explore the roots of this idea, to see exactly how this dream of a perfectly restored world came to be. You can literally trace the breadcrumbs right here. It all starts back in Genesis, with a perfect world that gets lost. Then you fast forward to these dark times of exile and uncertainty, and prophets like Isaiah and Ezekiel start talking about a future restoration, a new Eden. Then, in those centuries between the Old and New Testaments, you get texts like 1 Enoch, which introduce this really interesting idea of evil being locked away for a fixed amount of time. And then finally, bam! Revelation pulls all those threads together into one stunning, cohesive picture.
And this brings us to the really good stuff. What does this restored world actually look like? What does it feel like? Well, the prophecies paint an incredibly vivid picture.
First off, the planet itself is healed. That curse from Genesis, it gets reversed. The prophets talk about deserts literally blooming, and the earth becoming so unbelievably abundant that it looks just like that original perfect garden. You see, it's not about escaping creation, it's about the restoration of creation.
And this quote right here just shows you how deep this piece goes. I mean, we're not just talking about countries not fighting anymore. The actual hostility baked into nature itself is gone. Predators and prey just hang out. And this image of a little kid safely leading a once dangerous animal, it's all about showing a world where fear itself has been totally abolished.
And get this, human life doesn't just stop, it's redeemed. People are still working, building, creating, but now their work is secure, it's meaningful, it's always rewarding. There's no more toil, no more exploitation, or worrying if someone's going to take what you've built. Human culture is renewed, and it's celebrated.
When you put it all together, it's just a total transformation. The environment is overflowing with abundance. Society is finally, truly at peace. Cities are safe for everyone, young and old. The whole economy shifts from being about gain to being about worship. And the spiritual life, it's just constant joy, because God's presence is right there. It's a complete, top-to-bottom renewal of absolutely everything.
So the big question is, how in the world does all this happen? Well, the texts tell us this global transformation is orchestrated by two central figures. One who acts with total power, and another who is, well, acted upon. And wow, the contrast could not be more stark. On one side, you have the Messiah King. His very presence is the source of all this life, all this peace, all this restoration. And on the other side, you have his adversary Satan, the source of all the deception and hostility in the world. And he is powerfully, completely restrained. Which brings us right back to this number, 1,000 years. The crucial point here is that this isn't just some random length of time. For 1,000 years, the ultimate source of deception and temptation is physically taken off the board, allowing humanity to finally flourish under a perfect, righteous ruler. Revelation paints this incredible scene. A powerful angel comes down from heaven holding a key and a massive chain. He grabs Satan and locks him away in an abyss. And this imagery, it actually has roots in earlier traditions. For example, the ancient text 1 Enoch talks about a similar figure.
the Archangel Uriel, whose job is to oversee that very prison. This one act is the linchpin. It's what makes the 1,000-year reign of peace even possible.
So what's the bottom line? How does this all tie together? Well, it all builds to the ultimate point of the entire biblical narrative, the promise of restoration.
You know, this whole vision, it isn't just some happy little ending tacked on for good measure. It's presented as the fulfillment of God's oldest, most foundational promises. The promise to Abraham about a land, the promise to David about an eternal king, and that implied promise all the way back in Genesis of a restored relationship between us and creation. It all comes together right here. I love this quote because it just captures the beautiful symmetry of the whole story so perfectly. The failure that happened in the first garden is finally and fully made right. Where the first man failed in his job to care for the world, the Messiah succeeds. Where creation was groaning and suffering, now it thrives.
And that leaves us with one final, really powerful thought to chew on. The vision of the millennium isn't about escaping a broken planet to go somewhere better. It's about a deep, profound commitment to redeem and restore this world, to finally make it what it was always meant to be. It's a hope that's centered on resurrection, not abandonment. And when you think about it, that changes everything.